Just want to talk a little bit about um, practicing with what you're going to carry for the self-defense round. I've heard a lot of people complain about the high cost of carrying larger caliber rounds like a 40 or 45 or 357 SIG or 357 Magnum or a 10 millimeter round over like a 9 millimeter or a 380. Well, of course, the costs are going to be higher with those type of rounds than they are the smaller type calibers. Um, One thing I don't agree with, and I see this on a lot of videos and forums and things like that too, is people say, "Oh, just shoot, buy a bunch of 9 millimeter rounds and shoot with those, even if you're carrying a different caliber round." You know, like say a 40. I'm just saying that's the next caliber up, pretty much. And they'll say, "Oh, just get a bunch of 9 millimeter and practice with those, and you'll be okay." Well, I disagree with that because in order to be effective with a self-defense caliber, you need to practice with that one caliber the majority of the time if that's what you're going to carry primarily for self-defense. Because muscle memory, recoil, sight alignment, that all comes into play when you're talking about recoil and stuff like that too. Getting back on target with a 9 millimeter is easier often than a 40 or 45 or whatever, or any other caliber. So the 380 and 22 and all those, I wouldn't even carry those for self-defense unless I didn't have any other choice. But either way, the point being is that if you're going to carry a 40 or 45 or whatever it might be, or 357 or 10 millimeter, then that's what you need to practice with the majority of the time. If you carry two different calibers for self-defense, say a primary carry and a backup pistol, and they're both two different calibers for whatever reason, those are the two calibers you need to practice with. So buying a lesser caliber just for the sake of shooting, just to shoot, um, I don't agree with that. Unless you live out in the country and you don't have to worry about going to a range or the added cost of that, and you want to carry, you want to buy a bunch of lower caliber rounds to practice with, then you can do that. But I would not do that predominantly as a habit because in a home defense situation or a self-defense situation out on the street, you need to be proficient with whatever round caliber you're going to carry. Excuse me. Um, so people complain, "Oh, it's too expensive to shoot with this or that caliber. If it was cheaper, I would carry this caliber versus another caliber that's not so expensive." Well, what I don't hear a lot of, and this is common sense stuff, folks. This is not rocket science, okay, or brain surgery. If you would do without some of the stuff in your life, like your lifestyle, if you eat a bunch of junk food all the time, or if every weekend you go to the bar, or eat a bunch of chips and sodas and pizza and all kinds of stuff, and you order all this extra stuff or whatever it is you might be doing, buying junk food and soda, you don't need that stuff to live and survive. Okay, your life is more important than a bag of chips and junk food and all that kind of stuff, and it adds up. And I realize that stuff's not very expensive. So it's going to take a while to save up extra money to buy, quality ammunition and stuff like that too, and to be able to shoot as much as you would like. Um, every weekend, I would suggest shooting, if you can do it, 100 rounds a weekend. That's 400 rounds a month. At the very least, is what I would recommend people shooting. Some people shoot maybe 200-300 rounds at a range time, a range session. That's good. Maybe every 2 weeks or so you could do that, but you need to just practice because shooting is a skill you can lose. It's a perishable skill. If you haven't shot in a long time, you're not necessarily going to be as proficient and accurate and quick getting your shots on target as you would be if you practice more. Well, you can practice more if you just make some lifestyle changes, like such as smoking and stuff too. If you smoke, or dip and stuff like that, that's the biggest waste of money you can possibly do because smoking is harmful for you. It does nothing good for your health. Your health is not going to improve if you start smoking, okay? or dipping and things like that. Mouth cancer, throat cancer, lung cancers, all that's a whole other topic. But what I'm getting at is you can do a lot more with the money you have if you budget it better. You don't need to go out and see the movie every weekend that comes out and all that kind of stuff because it's not cheap. By the time you go to the movies and pay the ticket and the popcorn, if you waste your money on concessions, which I never do, because they're ridiculous. They charge you 3 or 4 times what the thing's worth, and it's not worth that much. I don't need popcorn or sodas that bad. Um, it costs $10 or $12 sometimes to go see a movie for one person. So, so you did that every weekend for a month, then you've almost bought a whole box of ammunition. You know, 50 rounds of ammunition is gone right there. So you'll be surprised at what you can do, how much money you can save by cutting out certain things like that too. Even going on trips so often and vacations so often, you need 1 or 2 vacations maybe a year if you can do it. You don't need a whole lot more than that. It's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars in expense that you don't really need to spend. And I'm not saying be a stick in the mud, never be flexible. If you can save extra money and go towards things like that that you have to splurge or just can't do without soda or whatever odd reason, then save that up, but also put the money aside for shooting because you can't put a price tag on your life, your family and friends' life. Okay, so don't complain about, oh, I can't afford to shoot this and that. Baloney. You can afford to do more things than you think if you cut out certain things in your life. A lot of people want to pay $60, $70, $100 a month phone bill. That's stupid. You don't need $100 a month phone bill, or 130 or 40 even for some people. Get a straight talk phone, $45 a month, unlimited talk, text, and internet. You don't need a $600 phone, to do that on like a Verizon or some other plan, because you're going to pay at the butt every month plus the cost of the phone. But you're paying at the butt every month anyway for a phone service that you don't need to pay that much money for in the first place. And things like satellite, if you have 120, 30 channels on your TV, you don't need that many channels. Good gracious, 40, 50 channels is plenty. You don't need all that much money, so you can cut down on the cost of that and still get to see the main shows that you like, things like that too, or Netflix or Hulu or whatever you want to subscribe to watch your favorite shows on TV. If you can do that, do that. Because your bottom line is when you go out in the world and you go out doing your daily day-to-day things and you're carrying a weapon, you need to make sure you're proficient with that weapon. And in order to be doing that, you will have had to have put some time and effort and practice into it. Okay? Both dry fire practice and live rounds, of course. Hollow point defensive rounds, whatever the round is you're going to carry in the gun to, for self-defense, that's what you need to practice with. Don't give me that, oh, it's too expensive, I can't buy no hollow point rounds. Baloney. Okay? You're not going to be thinking that's too expensive if you have to use it on somebody and defend yourself. You're going to be, thank God I did that. Okay? Thank God I put in the practice and the time. Hopefully it saved my bacon. You get my drift? So don't tell me you can't afford something. People can afford a lot more in this world if they budget and are smart with their money. A lot of people are just too damn lazy to do it. So your life is worth more than junk food and entertainment value when it's put up against the life of your family and your friends and stuff like that too. If you have to go to a gun range, like I said, buddy up, double up. Cut the cost in half versus going by yourself. Or borrow a gun if you don't have a firearm. Borrow with friends or something like that. Make sure it's clean and it's good working order before you go to the range. So that will also cut down on the cost. If you have friends have headphones, shooting glasses, borrow those too if you don't have any. It saves you on the rental fees. But if you live out in the country, a lot of that's not going to apply to you because it's not going to not incur the extra cost of a shooting range and all the extra equipment either. So anyway, I hope this helps some people. If you agree with it, don't agree with it, want to comment, like, subscribe to my channel, I'd appreciate it. And welcome any input and comments that you might have. So thanks for watching. Take care.